Years ago, I read an article that said to maintain your weight or size, you needed to work out an hour a day, at least 5 days per week. You had to work out an hour and a half to lose anything. Wow. Well, just give me the bowl of the M&Ms and let me dive right in, okay? I don't want to give up before we get started. I'm so glad I'd already found the T-TAP workout before I read that, because I know now that's not really true. Can you imagine? Who has time for that? I certainly don't, and I'll bet you don't either. And that's one of the little known secrets in the exercise world, is that less can actually be more. Now let's face it, most of us, especially if you're in that over 40, over 50, and hello, over 60 category, you're not going to do as well as you did in your 20s and 30s when you had more energy, when your thyroid was maybe more optimal, and when your body was still in that rebuilding phase instead of the aging, and you have to work harder to maintain the homeostasis of good health stage. And that's the season I'm in now. And I can't work out an hour a day even if I wanted to. And I really don't want to. But thankfully, I know that less is more as long as it's intentional focus and focused, especially on form and activation. And that's one of the things we'll cover in my membership, the Flourish Collective. I talked last time about how it's a quarterly rotation. In the first month, we're focused mainly on mindset. Now, that doesn't mean we don't do movement or healthy habits, just the main focus is on the mindset because it's so foundational. And there's a link in the description below if you missed that video. This time I want to talk about movement because that is the second month focus. Now, again, we're moving all 3 months, but in the second month is where we're going to really zero in on good form, activation, making sure we're not doing too much, but also making sure we push ourselves just a little bit so that we are getting maximum benefit depending on where we are in with our joint health and with our overall stamina and our schedules, right? Things are so crazy like that. And I have proven it over the years that less truly is more. If you don't have my ebook, Fatigued Fabulous, I have a whole chapter about this, that little bits do add up, is what the name of the chapter is. And in there, I talk about my stats. I kept really good records for those 3 to 4 years when I lost 8 sizes. And I can give you just a quick summary. Only a third of it was over 2 inches. And I only lost like 5 inches the first week or two. I know there's people who lost lots of inches, and we go by inches instead of weight because weight can be kind of not really a true picture, because if you're gaining muscle but losing fat, your weight might not change. But if things are getting smaller, if you're getting smaller and your clothes are fitting better and you're feeling better, that's a good way to measure. So I was very meticulous about measuring every week for about 3 years. I missed a few, of course, for being sick, traveling, that kind of thing. But for a full third of it, there was over 2 inches, but most of that was like barely over 2 inches. Another third was about 1.5 to 1 to 2 inches, and a third of it was under an inch. Yes, I'm not kidding. Only an inch, just under an inch. We have a saying about only 1 inch. We don't want to say that because it almost sounds like it's not enough. But all those little 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, 1/4 inch increments added up to 8 sizes lost. Yes, that's what I just said, 8 sizes lost. And 80% of my workouts were 20 minutes or less, 3 to 4 times a week. I did 5 times a week sometimes, but usually took the weekends off. Very rarely did I work out more than 5 times a week. And most of the time, like I just said, it was 3 to 4 times because I had a busy life and sometimes things came up. And, sometimes when you're on your cycle, you're just not as energetic. And so you kind of back off a little bit. And of course, there was just those times when lack of sleep and all the things when you're raising a family. So you don't have to work out an hour and a half a day to lose anything, except maybe your sanity. And you don't have to work out an hour a day to maintain, because I never have. I have never worked out. Even when I was maintaining those 8 sizes lost, I was not working out an hour a day. In fact, I could maintain on 15 to 20 minutes 3 times per week, and doing some moves on the off days and maybe walking, but not power walking, not running. You don't have to kill yourself with workouts. And that's what I want to share with you in the collective. And of course, you can go on my YouTube channel and find a lot of very short workouts, a lot of seated workouts. Most of them are 10 minutes or less. Very rarely do I go over 15 to 20 minutes with my workouts that I do. So in this first round, this first quarter, as we go through the collective, we're actually going to dig into the foundations library, the foundational library. So in there, I have core focuses on the floor, seated, standing against a wall, and standing away from the wall to help you really engage that core, because it is the foundation of everything else. Because if you lose your core while you're executing other moves, you're still going to get some benefit, but you're not going to get max benefit. One thing that TTAP is known for is comprehensive compound muscle activation, meaning we activate more than one muscle at a time. And activating that core along with a whole host of other muscles really helps keep you in alignment as well, so you get maximum benefit from your workout, even if you're doing 3 moves versus an entire 20-minute workout. And it's just very powerful. And so we're going to dig into those core focuses. We're also going to dig into some other foundational, the alignment, the setup, the stance, because I feel like it's really important that we dig into that so that in future runs of the collective, the future quarters, we have that foundation for the workouts we'll do. Now in future, like in the next quarter when I run this, we will be doing 1 to 2 workouts that are focused for everyone. For example, if it's a standing workout, I will also have a seated workout, because I know not everybody can do standing. If it's a floor workout, then I will also have another option for those who can't get down on the floor. And actually, I love adapting things to the chair. Yes, even floor moves. I've done that before. So that way we're all kind of on the same page, but when we're digging into that workout. So during the second month, which is the movement focus month, what I'll do is each week we'll have a little bit deeper dive into some specific techniques or moves to that workout so that you can get more out of it. And we'll also have every other week, we will have a Facebook Live where you can come in and ask your questions, and you can let me know ahead of time so I can address it during that live if you can't make it during the live. Now, if you're in the VIP, you get a little bit more in the sense that if you have a question about a specific move or part of a workout, I will do a demo for you. And also, if you feel like, hey, can you just maybe spot check me? You can do a quick video of yourself and I'll look at it and give you some feedback on that. And we get a monthly Zoom call in the VIP. So just a little bit more there. And I'll also offer help with scheduling. So if you feel like you're doing too much, or how do I fit this in? Is this really enough? I'm there to answer those kind of questions and to give you examples, real life examples. I have so many testimonials of women who could tell you that less is more. Women who were surprised to lose off their tummies while they're doing seated workouts. They knew that they would maybe lose some off of their arms or maybe strengthen their arms, but they weren't expecting core strength. Yes, we can, even in a chair. Can't do floor work? We can still work with that. You know, a lot of people want to know, oh, what workout did you do? Which workouts did you do? And you want to follow that. Well, it might not be the right workout for you. So I often say the right workout is the one that you will do and can do consistently. It has to fit with where you're at in your stamina, in your health, if you have any joint issues going on, and it has to fit with your season of life and your schedule. And that can change, right? I had seasons where I was doing my workouts in the late afternoon, early evening. I couldn't do it too late or I would end up not being able to sleep. And I had seasons when I did it during my baby's nap time, so because I could focus on homeschooling in the morning, and other times I had to get that thing done first thing in the morning or it just wasn't going to get done. So it varied. Even over the seasons of my life, it has varied depending on what was going on in my life. So that's what I'm going to be there for in the Flourish Collective. It's a place where we can come together and encourage one another, and I can answer your questions. I can encourage you when you're feeling discouraged. We can celebrate when you get your wins, and yes, we celebrate the tiniest wins. I'm going to give you a quick example. I had someone one time who had reached out because she had to be down in bed for a while, and she didn't want to lose her core strength. And so I came up with an idea of a way that she could move her feet just gently, because she could move in the bed. She just wasn't supposed to be weight bearing. And she was able to maintain her core. And then we had to rework strength in her legs. And there's a move called seated hoedowns where you just lift your feet alternately. It's in I'll find it and I'll put the link below so you can check that one out. And at first she literally could not lift her feet off the floor, but we celebrated her trying. I said, just keep thinking it, keep trying it, keep engaging your core, because she could do that. And then we celebrated when she raised it half an inch. Yes, she raised her feet half an inch as she did that move. We celebrated an inch. Yes, we celebrated that. And then when she could actually do the move, we celebrated that. And eventually, in the lifestyle way, she was able to get up out of the chair without having to kind of press on the arms or rock herself up into getting that momentum up there. We celebrate those wins because that's why we exercise, is so we can, do our activities of life without having to do all these extra things just to get up into a standing position, right? So that's the whole reason we do it. So we are going to celebrate every win, the small ones, the big ones, and everything in between. I would love for you to join me. The link is below to check out the Flourish Collective. We officially start July 6th, but actually next week, the week of the 22nd, I'm going to do a 5-day mindset reset. It's actually called Fresh Reset. And you can be a part of that, kind of a little prime the pump before we get into mindset work in July. We'll do the movement focus in August, and then we'll do healthy habits in September. Again, you're still doing these as we're doing the other things, but in those particular months, so for example, in the movement month, we are going to dig in just a little bit deeper, but not too overwhelming, because I know sometimes information overload can lead to analysis paralysis and we do nothing. That's not where we're at. And let me tell you, if you decide, hey, I really just need to work on mindset for the whole 3 months, yeah, I'll move a little bit, but that's where I want to focus. That is totally fine. This is your membership. I want you to get the most out of it, of where you're at in this season of your life. So I'd love to have you join me. If you have any questions or comments about it, please let me know in the comments below, and go check it out. And also check out that seated hoedowns and last week's video if you already missed it. I'll see you in the next one when we talk about healthy habits.